During the rapid progress at Outpost 25, Omega also began to operate in the Ural Mountains, as it possessed the world's single largest outbreak zone, and Valentina saw this as a vital new opportunity to forward her plan. Since childhood, Valentina believed she had been hearing the voice of her father, Ulrich Vogel, and recognized this for the first time at around the age of 5, from beginning her research into physics and biochemistry to encouraging her to kill her guardian, Kurtz. This voice was always with her, and now it told her the promised day was almost upon them. First, however, she would need to create something, a weapon capable of setting him free, the reality inversion warheads. Valentina addressed the Soviet Politburo with the plans for Operation Inversion and pushed for Berlin as a target. On July 8th, Peck, now with one less eye, arrived at a missile silo in the Ural outbreak zone with the task of continuing work with Operation Inversion. At around the same time, he began interacting with one of the Dark Ether computers. On the other side was Zykov. Hearing about his new operation, Zykov was miraculously able to help Peck do exactly what he needed: build the inversion warheads, and to do this, he hoarded Tempest from the Dark Ether and gave their location to Peck, who in turn informed the Ethernauts who would collect them. Valentina and Gorev note Peck's obsessive behavior with the computer, but opt not to tell Kravchenko for now. Also around this time, the director via Peck informs Kravchenko about the existence of an entity within the Dark Ether, one in control of all the others, known as the Forsaken. Recognizing this existential threat, but more than that, seeing it as his opportunity to be held as a hero, Kravchenko took control of Operation Inversion on July 22nd. His intention: wait for the Forsaken to enter our world and use the missiles to destroy him, or at the very least, send him back. Requiem, now recognizing the colossal gap between their and Omega's knowledge of the Dark Ether, begin big operations in the Ural Mountains outbreak zone, part of Operation Threshold. Though this seems incredibly precarious, the fact that here, East and West were performing experiments so secret that even being revealed would threaten world peace, and meant that both sides were effectively unable to start a public conflict over these skirmishes. All the while, at Requiem headquarters, believing Maxis to be the cause of the outbreak at Outpost 25, and growing concerns of her experience in the Dark Ether, a vote is held with the department heads as to whether or not she should be given field operative status, but this is declined, failing by one vote, and was kept inside Requiem HQ for several months. Valentina, frustrated by the change in the nature of Operation Inversion, is consolidated by the voice she believes is her father, who tells her not to worry. Under his instructions, she leaks Inversion's documentation to Sergei Ravanov, who in turn leaks it to Maxis, still interred at Requiem. Somewhat abusing the more than special trust that she has been building with Dr. Gray, Maxis convinces Gray to give her access to her communications protocols. Using this, she contacts the strike team and Ravanov and directs them to meet up at Ruka. On November 16th, 1984, meeting Ravanov face to face once again, the strike team successfully acquired the launch keys for the Inversion missiles, changing the location to the middle of the Pacific Ocean, far out of harm's way, and getting in the way of Omega's plan. Just as they are preparing to leave, however, a legion of Tempests begin flying towards the silos through two colossal Dark Ether portals in the sky, joining together into one colossal Tempest, incidentally blocking the silos with a large Ethereum power node, crystals. The strike team managed to defeat this giant Tempest, in turn clearing the silo blockages and successfully launched the missiles. In the weeks following the event at Ruka, the strike team was cleared to return to active duty after almost facing a court-martial, only to be spared by none other than the director of Requiem, as he had bigger plans and he needed them to be in play. During their interactions, Gray had noted strange occurrences with Maxis, specifically in one instance a book moving. More importantly, having seen her notes about these events on the Requiem mainframe, warns her that people above their pay grade can see them too.
Eva, I don't know what to say.
There's nothing to say. Your lack of military experience is no excuse for what you did. You knew better, and you did it anyway.
I just wanted to let her talk to the team. I didn't know what she was gonna...
One thing you're not is stupid. But I also don't think you're a traitor. Which is why I'm taking the heat on this one. No one upstairs is aware of your role in Sam's little side operation. And that's how it'll stay. As long as you never fucking cross me again. Understood?
Yes.
How is she anyway?
Agent Maxis is still showing high levels of Ethereum contamination in her bloodstream. But the way it's affecting her is different than any other subject I've observed.
Meaning?
It's not just her eyes. There are things happening on a cellular level I can't quantify yet.
You keep your notes in our central database, yes? And that would explain the new orders. The director wants to run more specialized tests on Maxis. If you're asked to cooperate, you do as instructed. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
And Gray? Remember, if it's on the mainframe, everyone above my pay grade can access it. If there's something you want to tell me, you tell me in person.
I promise, Weaver. I won't keep anything else from you.
I'm glad we understand each other. Dismissed.
Weaver, disappointed in Gray for allowing Sam to get the better of her and enabling the events at Ruka, scolds her and warned her to never cross his path ever again. He also confronted Maxis and, after a heated exchange, confined her to her quarters with no more walks around the facility with her dog. Unfortunately, Gray's warning came too late. By this point, the director had already marked Sam down for special tests, and Weaver received new orders from him on December 1st and had Maxis taken away for additional testing. Based on reports from Gray about the high levels of Ethereum contamination in her bloodstream and changes on a cellular level. As she was taken away, Weaver promised to take care of her dog. On December 3rd, after 2 days of travel, Maxis arrived at Block 8, a classified facility of the CIA built with an Ethereum seal. She was maintained in isolation after she attempted to flee the facility upon arrival. Maxis was subjected to several interrogation sessions led by the director of Requiem to access her powers. After 15 days, the director managed to push her by stating that nobody at Requiem was caring for her and that she was just a sad little lost girl. Filled with anger, Maxis used her telekinetic abilities to break the glass in the room.
Hello, Mr. Director.
Oh, you heard me come in. You're very perceptive, aren't you? Do you know how long you've been here?
Not counting bathroom breaks and mandatory exercise. 15 days. As of today.
And still no breakthrough?
What kind of breakthrough do you want? Your only goal seems to be trying to make me angry. But I'm not. Just disappointed.
You're probably going to be more disappointed when this session is over. You do know that none of them really care for you. Strauss, Carver, Weaver, even Gray. They've barely inquired as to your current situation.
That's not true. They wouldn't want me to be here. You're just trying to manipulate me. Test my emotional responses.
Like you did with them. Do you even know how much trouble you caused for your Requiem friends? Going behind their backs on your little secret squirrel mission with Ravenov.
I looked Weaver in the eye when I was taken to be brought here. He didn't want this.
You like him, don't you?
Not in the way you think. We just have history. Shared history. Shared trauma. You wouldn't understand.
I do understand. In fact, I was very forgiving about the whole thing. I mean, given Weaver's failures and lapses in security, I could easily have had him disappeared.
Don't test me.
Maybe I still should.
I'm warning you!
What on earth could you possibly do to me? You really are just a pathetic, sad, little, lost Oh dear. I suppose we'll have to replace that glass now. But at least we're making progress.
The director continued to torture Maxis over the next 2 months. At around this time, Carver begins doing more digging into the exact nature of the Dark Ether. Thanks to his military career, he was the first to recognize the parallel between the power structure in the Dark Ether and that of an army. He noticed the different factions and hierarchy, and that there was a clear order system. His question though, who was the commander-in-chief? Carver found that very answer lying on the director's desk, confirming his worst fears. There was an exceptionally powerful being at the top, and it was growing in power. None other than the Forsaken. As well as this, Peck continues his communications with Zykov. Frustrated at the failure of Operation Inversion, Peck inquired as to whether Zykov could help him get more Tempest to attempt it again. However, Zykov assured him that this was not necessary. Instead, he would help Zykov build a device that would be able to stop the Forsaken, a way to bring Zykov home. In doing this, Zykov would be able to give Omega the knowledge necessary to kill the Forsaken. On November 30th, Kravchenko reported that the missiles couldn't get recovered and belonged to the ocean. He soon decided to take direct actions against Requiem and tasked Dr. Hugo Yeager, head of Necroanalytics and a man with somewhat ancestral ties to the Dark Ether, to infiltrate the small group of defected scientists led by a Dr. Zakova, being informed that there are traitors within Omega. Yeager's mission was to eliminate the scientists and set up a trap for Requiem's elite strike team. This operation was called Operation Isichenye, or Operation Excision in English. Gaining their trust, Yeager contacts Ravenov, now officially disavowed from Russia for his part in the events at Ruka, and tells him they wish to defect. Ravenov, too happy to strike a blow at Omega, arranges with Requiem to have them extracted. Kravchenko also becomes suspicious of Valentina after learning from Gorev that Peck had been talking to Zykov from one of the modified computers and planned to speak with her directly. Yeager informs Kravchenko and expresses his pleasure in the opportunity to deal with the traitors personally. All he will need is a helicopter. The colonel is all too happy to oblige. On December 14th, Weaver contacted the strike team to meet Ravenov and the Omega 8. The strike team arrive back in the Ural Mountains, this time at the sanatorium, and link up with Ravenov, who informs them there is a downed helicopter. Upon locating the crash site, Yeager, speaking via recorded message, informs the strike team that the scientists were shot down, but have escaped to Monument Island. This is through the phase, but Dr. Zakova's new invention, the Ethereum Neutralizer, allowed them to cross through. Yeager explains there is another neutralizer waiting for the strike team, but they will have to power through it themselves.
Hello? Scheiße. Ravenov, it is Dr. Hugo Yeager. I hope either you or Requiem find this recording. Most of us survived the crash. We're headed to Monument Island. I hope we'll be safe from Omega. Before you ask, yeah, that is on the other side of the phase, but the scientists I'm with, they have created something incredible. A device that will allow us to travel through the phase without dying. Or worse. They only have one prototype, but they are assembling another from spare parts so you can follow us. Unfortunately, we are missing a component, an ethereal orb. Find one and bring it to the bridge. There will be a slightly modified recon rover waiting for you. Please hurry. Omega shot us down. They will not leave the job unfinished.
So, finding an ethereal orb and a strange toy bunny rabbit, the strike team power the neutralizer and cross the phase, arriving at the island home to a monument. However, they find the corpses of the Omega 8 scientists and another log from Yeager, expressing his hatred for traitors and wishing Auf Wiedersehen to the strike team. Yeager also indicated that the Ethereum neutralizer was now in Omega's possession. As the monument was being overrun with an order appearing, Weaver ordered the team to leave the area. They managed to defeat Order, and Raptor 1 arrived soon after to exfil the team, but they were shot down by Omega on their way out. Kravchenko arrived at the crash site. As Omega soldiers dragged Raptor 1's body out of the helicopter, Kravchenko ordered the team to surrender. They were captured soon after. Peck continues his communique with the director and is beginning to suspect his identity. The director instructs Peck that instead of seeking to kill the Forsaken, he should instead attempt to capture it, and gives him the schematics of a device capable of containing the creature. Peck informs Kravchenko of this, though lies and says that Zykov told him of this new plan. The colonel is more than happy with the idea of gaining a new superweapon for the USSR.